Alright, so now we're going to go over the presentation for new Medicare members who are looking to a Medicare Supplement plan. And these are the 15 steps to provide the perfect presentation for these beneficiaries who are in their Medicare Supplement open enrollment. This is the first 6 months that someone's Part B is active. So your first step is to verify information. So make sure that we have the right person on the phone. Typically these sales calls are done over the phone, and you want to make sure you get that done because it, number one, establishes that you are the professional, establishes the purpose of this meeting, and also so you don't fumble later on. It doesn't look so good if the information that you have is either wrong or you're speaking to someone else on your CRM system. What this also does, though, is it helps you and it helps the client kind of touch base again. During this stage, many Medicare beneficiaries are lost. They may not have completed their Part B, or they may not have heard back yet. You want to make notes of this. Many times, if they're already working, Medicare might have their primary insurance as the employer plan versus Medicare. So they're going to have to make that change as well to not have any kind of issues over with Medicare. And when they get their first bills sent up, Medicare will look for the primary, which they assume is the employer, because a lot of times this has to be done manually. They have to change their primary insurance company or primary insurance carrier back to Medicare, or to Medicare if they are they're currently employed, and that's what Medicare shows. So establish where your client is in the process of Medicare. And of course, if they had any questions on that process, this is where you can address that. Step 2, go over how to enroll in Medicare. If they're not there yet, if they haven't begun enrolling in Medicare, this is where you can start the educational process. Make sure you remind them about the Part B premium and IRMA. So if they are, making more money, you don't have to actually ask them how much they're making. You can go over the chart either by referring them to an email that you want to send them in the future, or an email that they've received from you already. And then, of course, you want to verify if they're drawing from Social Security. And the reason for this is if they're drawing from Social Security already and they're turning 65, Part B is automatic. Also, if they're drawing from Social Security, their Part B premium will be automatically deducted from their benefit. If they're not collecting Social Security, they will be billed quarterly for their Part B premium. And that can kind of feel like a lot of money because the Part B premium is $148. You times that by 3. The first payment looks to be like, $450. So it can be a sticker shock, or a bit of a sticker shock to people if they're getting billed directly. And you have to let them know that that's happening. And also, what I do is I have all of my clients switch over from direct billing, where they get the, bill in the mail, to automatic bank draft. And that can be done, that can be set up in the mymedicare.gov account. Step 3, this is where you're going to reestablish or establish that Medicare is, Medicare makes sense to them. You're going to talk to them about how Medicare works, educate them on how Medicare works with a Medicare Supplement Plan, how Medicare is accepted, the parts of Medicare. And this is to establish your expertise. Make sure that you are able to explain to them clearly and concisely how Medicare works so that they can feel comfortable and confident that you are the expert. Another thing that this does is it confirms that the client has some level of understanding. They may not be the expert like you are, but they have some level of KA is hospital, B is when I see the doctor, and D is for drugs. And, there is a co-insurance or co-payment that they're probably going to have to pay when they receive services or when they pick up medications from the pharmacy. And that Part B does have a cost. Step 4. This is really important. You need to educate them on the 2 ways of getting Medicare. And the 2 ways of getting Medicare is really important for new people who are in a supplement plan, because they need to know that they're retaining their original Medicare guidelines, very low level of restrictions when it comes to accessing care or getting prior authorizations. Also, with the Medicare supplement, it does cost more. They have to buy supplemental insurance, and they also have to buy a drug plan. The Medicare Advantage route, they're giving up some of those freedoms in order to save money, so to speak. So you have to make sure that they understand that just because you don't want them getting swayed by someone who calls them up later on and says, we got this plan, works just like original Medicare, covers all the same benefits of original Medicare, doesn't cost you anything. The person on the phone, the person who sold you that supplemental plan, they're just trying to get money from you. So make sure you explain to them the 2 different ways and the pros and cons of both. And of course, what this does is also shows expertise in the subject matter. For myself, I do most of my sales over the phone or online. So it does help build credibility and prevents my future clients from looking too far elsewhere for help. Step 5, find out the number of doctor visits. And what this does is it gives us a good idea of their overall health, and we can make a decision objectively whether Plan G or Plan N makes more sense based on the doctor visit. Because if they see a doctor more than twice a month, then that's potentially a $40 difference between the Plan G and the Plan N, just based on that metric alone. So we need to make sure that the plan we choose for them is the one that makes the most sense. Also, this shows your expertise in the subject matter. It does give us a little bit more than Plan G is obviously the best one because it covers the most right now. It's the highest plan you can qualify for. Let's sign you up for that one. That's not how how I do things anyway. And so you want to provide that, and you want to show that you are an expert in not only Medicare, but also the plans that Medicare supplement insurance companies offer. Now we're going to explain MediGap and their differences. So what we did in the prior step was to figure out in our head if Plan G or Plan N makes more sense, and to have input, have your clients provide you with input on their case. You're not just giving them a prescription that fits everyone who calls you or meets with you. You are getting information about them and tailoring your recommendation based on their current situation. So in step 6, we're going to change that now, and we're going to talk about how MediGap works. We're going to talk about the deductibles and co-pays on original Medicare. Original Medicare pays 20% or pays 80% of your care. Now, normally you would be responsible for 20%, but in the Medicare Supplement Plan G, the Medicare Supplement pays 20% of that cost. Now, Plan N pays 20% of that cost as well, of course, after the Part B deductible, but you have those $20 co-pays potentially at the doctor's office and a $50 ER visit and excess charges. So make sure you talk about the Plan G excess charge or Plan N excess charges and how to check if the doctor accepts Medicare assignment. And pretty much that's on the Medicare.gov site. The next step is to go over the supplement companies and the premium. Now, this is where you're going to show quotes. Now, if you've seen the quoting engine we use, it quotes a whole lot of different companies. Navigating that's going to be really important, and also going to be really important in showing why you're choosing certain companies over the others. And again, shows another level of expertise. You can explain the company differences here, the AM rating, the financial strength of the company, rate increases, potential market share, different things that the quoting engine does allow us to explain. Now, the next step is to ask for the sale. And the reason you're going to do this is to lock in the rate. So many Medicare supplement companies will have their rate published, and then the rate can change at pretty much any time once the quote is given. Now, if the quote is sent out today, the company could have a rate increase tomorrow, and your client will be subject to that rate increase. Also, a lot of companies will have a 12-month or a calendar year rate lock on the rate that they get. So potential, further rate increases they could avoid if they are able to lock in the rate with you today. Now, it's not a scare tactic. Don't, say that the rate's going to go up exponentially tomorrow. You don't know that, but just let them know the pros and cons of it, locking in the rate today. And even if they don't have the coverage active tomorrow, they can have the coverage active anywhere between 2 to 5 months depending on the insurance company, but they're able to at least lock in the rate even if the plan is not being started yet. And then get started on the application. Now, the application taking is going to be really important, because if if a lot of different companies ask for a lot of different things, and some of the things they ask for are very different, like height, weight, the tobacco is a question. Make sure you prep your client on all the demographic and potential, personal information that they will have to disclose, so that they're not taken aback when you ask. Next step is, of course, to go over the application. Some Medicare supplement companies will have like a $20 or $25 one-time application fee. So make sure you let them know about that. If the company does have one, you probably want to go over that during the quoting process. Also, the draft date. So these companies, again, will have the draft date. You can choose anytime between the 1st to the 28th. Some people like to have it, after the first week, because that's when Social Security deposits the money. And some people like to have it at the end of the month. Some people like to have it at the beginning of the month. Tailor the way you ask this question in order to be more conducive or conductive on how you kind of like to ask. The next thing is to verify the basic information. The basic information, a lot of the basic information is like their name, residential address. You have to get EFT, the electronic funds transfer banking information. You also may need to get their Social Security number. Of course, they're going to need their Medicare ID number and such. Step 10. This is really important. To review the prescription drug plan info and timelines. So make sure they know that this is not prescription drug plan coverage. There's no prescription drug plan coverage with the Medicare supplement plans. They need to get a plan for prescription drug coverage, and they need to prove a credible coverage for drugs if they're, retiring from a job. And this is really important because this could have, penalties for your client, and they also could have no drug coverage if they don't enroll in one when they're supposed to. This is going to prevent your client from having any kind of Part D penalties. Also, again, like I said, avoid not having drug coverage when they potentially think that they haven't because they've spoken to you already for the Medicare supplement. It's common for us, or common for me anyway, to really think, hey, they know Medicare supplements don't cover drugs. I've said that. I heard that. I know that because I've done this for so long. But new people who are just joining Medicare, they think that you say it pays for everything after the Part B deductible. They literally think it pays for all the drugs too. So make sure you make it clear that Part D is different. Step 11 is to explain coverage on Medicare in relations to dental, vision, hearing, and cancer, and long-term care. So Medicare, as you know, Medicare has wonderful resources online and says what Medicare doesn't pay for. Dental, vision, hearing, long-term care, all of those things Medicare does not cover. So with those gaps, you're going to want to provide solutions. So solutions can be standalone dental plans, can be cancer insurance, can be long-term care insurance, whatever you have in your, expertise, you can, of course, provide. And I would also make known of these, holes in original Medicare so that you don't have any confusion come down the line when clients experience either high costs or things that they thought was on or was covered by the Medicare supplement plan, so that you don't have those, surprises down the line. Step 12. review the appointment. So you're going to review the information that you provided. I always have a summary Excel spreadsheet that I provide all the cost of the Medicare supplement we purchased, the drug plan. Also, I may send them any documents that we talked about. I might send them resource videos that I created for them, or that is basics of Medicare to give them more information. Also, you're going to want to give them the homework. So what has to be done? What other things have not been done? Have they enrolled in a prescription drug plan? Are you going to talk to them about cancer insurance later on? What are your current or your future expectations for them? Are they going to enroll in a prescription drug plan on their own? Do they know when they have to do that by? Do they know the enrollment code that they have to use? So these are things that you're going to want to explain in the review of your meeting. Step 13 is explain all the emails to follow. You're going to want to provide a link for feedback, and feedback is really important in building online credibility, or any kind of credibility where someone can look you up and say, hey, if you've had a great experience, it's documented by client testimonials. And of course, you're going to want to provide continuing updates on Medicare changes and their plan. So while yes, they will receive information from the plan when their rate increases and such, you want to make sure that you also have you're keeping them up to date, and you're providing them with frequent or infrequent contact. And depending on how you run your practice, you're going to want to explain to them any emails that you're going to provide, industry updates, etc., so that they know that you're going to be in constant contact or infrequent contact. You want to let them know what the expectation is as far as communication. Step 14, and this is again educating your clients about extra help and Medicaid. For a lot of Medicare supplement users, or people who purchase Medicare supplements, of course, they're not going to qualify for extra help and or Medicaid. Make sure you let them know about these programs, though, because they're mailers and commercials that talk about free stuff that you can get, and you might be missing out benefits. And you can let them know about extra help and Medicaid, just so that they're aware of these types of messaging that can come from the TV or via the mail. The next thing is savings plans or savings cards, discount cards. GoodRx, Single Care, and National Drug Card. These are programs that can help them save money on prescription drugs without using insurance. And you can explain to them a little bit about it and how it works, and make sure you go over the fact that if they use the prescription drug cards versus their insurance, it won't go through the deductible. They won't get any credit for it if they use it during their deductible phase, or when they're calculating their true out-of-pocket costs. And lastly, if there's any type of annual wellness or bonus programs that the Medicare Supplement Company provides, this is very rare, but in the case that there are, let them know that there are annual wellness and reward programs. Let them know about the annual wellness visit so that they can plan for that one. That one doesn't have any cost, even if they're still haven't met or satisfied their Part B deductible. And make sure you give them the ins and outs of that, because many times the annual wellness visit can be lumped together with a regular office visit, and they can think that they got charged for it. But you know better, and you can let them know that, hey, the annual wellness visit is free, no charge to you, even if you haven't met your deductible yet. But some of the testings, and also if they do have another appointment in that annual wellness visit, they will be charged for that separately. And you can also provide health rewards to clients. Sometimes certain clinics will have health rewards that you can look up, or they might provide you with, a $25 gift card. But this is very localized, and I don't know any of them that do. But I've heard that there are some that do. The clinics provide, some kind of incentive for the clients to come in for their annual checkup or annual wellness visit. So if you have local market research or local market knowledge, this may be something to educate your clients on. And that's it for your presentation for new Medicare Supplement members. during their open enrollment period. If you wanted to learn more about the step-by-step process and the individual processes within each step, you can go ahead and contact me via my email. If you want to work further with me and with plan advisors, I will provide more information on how you can get started there in those follow-ups with me. You can leave a comment if you have any more questions about these presentations, and I'll see you guys in the next video.